Holy crap. So, Xbox has made one of the biggest acquisitions in years for this video game industry. I thought it was significant when PlayStation went out and got Insomniac Games, but wow, this one is something that is going to upset many and also excite some, because Bethesda is being purchased by Xbox. It's official, and now I think a lot of you are wondering what the heck happens to franchises like Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, because most likely this is going to become Xbox exclusives. And also, Bethesda and Obsidian Entertainment both under Xbox now. That is, maybe a Fallout New Vegas 2 actually is possible sometime in the future. It really is such a surprising, but it could lead to good things, but also I can understand a lot of the concerns coming from many. But hey, I mean, I've said this for a while now, especially during this Xbox One age, that Microsoft had to go out and make some big moves. They needed to bring up some talent. Obviously, they're doing some good stuff internally with some of their studios. Obsidian has been one of their greatest acquisitions. I really did like The Outer Worlds. I thought it was a phenomenal little game. And also, they have a bright future ahead with a game like Avowed, which originally I was saying that it's going to take on the Elder Scrolls franchise, and now, well, I mean, it's under Microsoft no matter what. So yeah, this is huge. This really is, and we have official statements coming from Xbox and Bethesda that we're going to go over, some analysis, and this is something that is a monumental day for this video game industry, and all I can think is, holy crap. Holy crap. So let's go to Xbox's official statement by Phil Spencer this morning. They announced critically acclaimed creators The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Quake, Starfield, and more join Team Xbox. Today is a special day as we welcome some of the most accomplished studios in the games industry to Xbox. We're thrilled to announce Microsoft has entered into an agreement to acquire ZeniMax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. As one of the largest, most critically acclaimed privately held game developers and publishers in the world, Bethesda is an incredibly talented group of 2,300 people worldwide who make up some of the most accomplished creative studios in our industry across Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, AlphaDog, and Roundhouse Studios. These are the teams responsible for franchises like The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Prey, Quake, Starfield, and many more. Bethesda games have always held a special place on Xbox, or had a special place on Xbox, and in the hearts of millions of gamers around the world. Our teams have a close and storied history working together, from the amazing first Doom and its id Tech software engine, innovating games on PCs, to Bethesda bringing their first console game to the original Xbox, the groundbreaking The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Over the years, I've had many deep conversations with creative leaders at Bethesda on the future of gaming. We've long shared similar visions for the opportunities for creators and their games to reach more players in more ways. Just as they took the bold first steps to bring the Elder Scrolls franchise to the original Xbox, Bethesda were early supporters of Xbox Game Pass, bringing their games to new audiences across devices, and have been actively investing in new gaming technology like cloud streaming of games. We will be adding Bethesda's iconic franchises to Xbox Game Pass for console and PC. That's actually one of the biggest crazy things. I guess The Elder Scrolls 6 will be on Game Pass day one, whatever that day actually comes, and Starfield. Wow, my god. One of the things that has me most excited is seeing the roadmap with Bethesda's future games, some announced and many unannounced, to Xbox console and PC, including Starfield, a highly anticipated new space epic currently in development by BGS. Like us, Bethesda are passionate believers in building a diverse array of creative experiences and exploring new game franchise and in telling stories in bold ways. I think one of my big questions is, does this put less pressure on Bethesda now to monetize the heck out of all of their franchises? And I think the question is, probably they can hopefully take a step back and not have to push so much monetization BS into every single game, because they have, well, Microsoft is now the big daddy. They are the top publisher. So I guess a lot of the things that Bethesda was worrying about before is no longer a worry. And I think the thing is about this acquisition, it shouldn't be too surprising considering the leadership at ZeniMax. They're all a bunch of older gentlemen, and I'm sure they just wanted to cash out. And I think that this deal is right now being reported at $7.6 billion. So yeah, the Altman family making a lot of money here, and the rest of the investors, and I believe there's a private equity firm that also owns like a good 40% of the company or more. Anyway, The statement continues, all of their great work will of course continue and grow, and we look forward to empowering them with the resources and support of Microsoft to scale the creative visions to more players in new ways for you. All of our work and the foundations of our relationship with you starts with a commitment to deliver a breadth of amazing games to discover and play on Xbox. Over the last few weeks, we've been excited to share more detail on important elements of a plan we've been building towards for players. A plan that is the fulfillment of a promise to you, the Xbox player, to deliver the most performant, immersive, and compatible next-generation gaming experiences, and the freedom to play blockbuster games with your friends anytime. And you get it, it continues in there. They say that they're proud to welcome Bethesda to Team Xbox. Now, we have another statement, this actually coming from Todd Howard. Yes, the Todd man has released a lengthy statement. He says the following: I've been incredibly blessed to spend my entire career at and help build one of the best places to make games in the world, Bethesda. And I've had the joy of doing it with some of the most talented, humble, and passionate people there are. They are part of my family and my good friends. I've also had the pleasure of working with and partnering with many of the best gaming and tech companies in the world, but our longest and closest partner during my career has been Microsoft. Today we join them, and I wanted to share some personal thoughts on what it means in our shared vision. The trajectory of Xbox and the trajectory of Bethesda in many ways have gone hand in hand. From our beginning, we had primarily been a PC developer. In 1999, two things happened. One, Bethesda became part of a brand new startup, ZeniMax Media, and Microsoft started development of their first video game console, the Xbox. I can remember my first trip to Redmond to discuss the new system and bringing our next game, Morrowind, to the Xbox. I was dubious Xbox Morrowind would be worth the time, somewhat on a technical level, but more so from taking a hardcore RPG and moving it from a PC desktop experience to a controller and sofa experience. If we made it work, would people want it? Microsoft and their new Xbox crew had a view that I came to share completely. Shouldn't we allow anyone to have the experience? Why does it matter where the screen is or what the controller is? There are many people without the same access, and we can bring it to them. Morrowind would go on to become one of the best-selling Xbox games of all time, behind Halo, another PC-style game some said would not work. Its success paved the way for the growth of our company and proved the point people wanted this experience regardless of device. Microsoft quickly let us in on their next generation, the Xbox 360. More than a PC port, our aim with our next game, Oblivion, was to usher in the next generation of gaming. With each game from Fallout 3 to Skyrim, our studio and company grew, adding brilliant and like-minded studios across the globe, all of us sharing in the belief that expanding the reach of gaming was fundamental, whether it was on PC, console, your phone, or the cloud. With each new console cycle, we evolved together, from bringing mods to consoles with Fallout 4, now over 1 billion downloads, to the latest technologies fueling Xbox Series X and S. These new systems are optimized for the vast worlds we love to create, with generational leaps not just in graphics but CPU and data streaming as well. It leads to our largest engine overhaul since Oblivion, with all new technologies powering our first new IP in 25 years, Starfield, as well as the Elder Scrolls 6. Very notable that Todd's going out of his ways to emphasize that Starfield's going to be a very different experience, which is hopefully true. He continues, like our original partnership, this one is about more than one system or one screen. We share a deep belief in the fundamental power of games and their ability to connect, empower, and bring joy, and a belief we should bring that to everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live, or what you play on, regardless of the screen size, the controller, or your ability to even use one. We can't think of a better group of people to do that than those at Xbox. We have friendships that go back to the original days, from Phil to his senior leaders to developer support. They don't just talk about putting players first, they passionately live it. At Bethesda, we've been lucky enough to create games we love and have an audience who loves them as much as we do. I've personally been humbled by the many industry honors I've received, as they belong to the entire studio, but one has always stood out to me for a special reason. When I received the Lifetime Achievement Award at GDC, I joked in my acceptance, I wonder how many achievement points this one is worth. At the end of the ceremony, some good friends from Microsoft congratulated me and said they'd find out. A few months later, I was given a code to a game they had created named after me and locked to my account. When ran, it unlocks a single achievement, Lifetime 1000 points. It still sits in my list when I check, and I smile every time. It has been a lifetime, but there are more to come and achievements to unlock together. We hope you join us. All the best, Todd Howard. So those are the two statements that have come out from both Xbox and Bethesda game studios thus far. And yeah, this is a major moment for this video game industry, something that really huge ramifications moving forward, something that some will like and some not. Now, some other information that is coming in at the time of recording this video, Jason Schreier has reported that this is a $7.5 billion purchase, not 7.6, which I believe I said earlier. He also pointed out this is 3 times what Microsoft paid for Minecraft, or Mojang, the studio behind that game. And now, this is something that I pointed out earlier, Bethesda and Obsidian are now sister studios. Fallout New Vegas 2 is actually a possibility. And my god, that's just one of the things I thought never would happen, but now is a possibility, and I really hope it becomes a reality someday. And then the other point was that Microsoft is now releasing 2 timed PlayStation 5 exclusives, and yeah, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. But this is a huge move for Xbox and something that will shake up this video game industry for a long time to come. The question really now is, what will PlayStation do? Do they go out and make a huge purchase, or are they done for now relying on their studios, which have had monumental success this generation? But that does mean that next generation, I mean, you got games like The Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield, and then Doom, I guess. All these will be Xbox or first-party exclusives. Obviously, you can still play them on PC, but this is something that really pushes Microsoft forward. And I know some people, like myself, have been very critical about the last couple of years, but Phil Spencer, gotta give him credit. He has done a lot of great things, and even better is that all of these games will be available in Game Pass. Game Pass is their focus for the future. They want to continue to build that up, and this is how you do it. You bring in talented studios like Bethesda and franchises that so many love. Even if I've been enormously critical about Fallout 76, this probably puts less pressure on Bethesda game studios with having to rush a game out. They can take their time now because, well, they're now under Xbox, and Xbox really seems to right now be giving their studios and their developers freedom, allowing them to take their time and bring some creativity and innovation to future games. Now, to some of the reactions that are coming in early on so far with this massive news, we have Aaron Greenberg, Xbox Games Marketing at Microsoft. He said, "The announcement is a dream come true from me as a gamer and member of Team Xbox. I have so much admiration for Todd Howard and Pete Hines and all the incredibly talented members of the team at Bethesda and their many talented studios. Huge welcome to everyone." Yeah, remember, Xbox is now going from 15 to, I believe, 23 studios with some massive franchises. Now we have Marty Silva, IGN writer, I believe. He said, "This is the biggest gaming news of 2020. I'd argue the last couple of years, honestly. The current future Game Pass library just got even better. Microsoft is publishing 2 PlayStation 5 exclusives, like I mentioned before. Fallout New Vegas 2 can happen with Bethesda and Obsidian. Pre-orders open tomorrow for the Xbox Series X and S." Yeah, that's actually phenomenal timing. And the next reaction we have is coming from somebody named Ultra Dave. He says, "Microsoft now owns Bethesda, Inxile, and Obsidian, some of the best RPG developers out there, and they will combine to release the buggiest RPG of all time." Wasn't Wasteland 3 a little buggy? I think it was. Regardless, some serious talent there for future RPG games. Eddie Makic, he's an associate editor, GameSpot Australia. He says, "Disney paid $4.1 billion for Lucasfilm/Star Wars back in 2015. At $7.5 billion, Microsoft just bought ZeniMax Bethesda for more than $3 billion more. That's pretty crazy to think about." Paris, one of the great content creator for Cyberpunk 2077, he points out that Microsoft acquiring Bethesda is the biggest news of 2020. The Fallout and Elder Scrolls IPs alone are huge, but wow. I'm in utter shock, and the day before pre-orders go on sale, Game Pass. Co-Carnage, a Twitch streamer, points out that unlike Obsidian and Inxile, I kinda hope that Microsoft will step in and maybe clean things up a bit over there. Better QA, less of a focus on money, and more of a focus on quality. Bethesda could use some help, and I certainly agree. SkillUp, another popular YouTuber reviewer, he points out that, "Can you imagine Xbox exclusives being Starfield, The Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5, Fallout New Vegas 2, Prey 2, Dishonored 3, Doom, Wolfenstein? Like, holy hell, talk about completing upending the Xbox has no exclusives narrative. This generation is a whole new ballgame. Could not agree more." And then Skilp again points out that I had long expected Bethesda to sell to someone. This transformation of that company over the past few years felt like it was a result of serious cash flow challenges. Their games are expensive to make, and their audiences hate microtransactions. Still, wow. And one interesting point that has to be mentioned, this is coming from news editor at Eurogamer Tom Phillips. He says that Phil Spencer does not say that Bethesda games will now be exclusive to Xbox. Xbox, but I wonder if they need to be $70 on PlayStation 4 or available on Xbox day one as part of Game Pass. That's really going to be the question moving forward. What the heck happens with Bethesda's franchises? Are they going to become immediately exclusive? Because I believe The Elder Scrolls 6 was already announced for PlayStation consoles, so does that change? Because that game is far into the future. And what about Starfield and future games to the Doom franchise or Wolfenstein? There's just many questions that will take time to get answers for, because I'm not even sure if Xbox has decided completely, but yeah, they right now have some serious franchises that will, well, they'll make sure that people will play on either PC or Xbox for certain. Anyway, looking at social media right now, the internet is blowing up over this announcement. This is a top trend on Twitter. Some people have been pointing out that Sony's 2013 to 2019 operating profit was $8.838 billion versus this acquisition price of $7.5 billion. Some people have been pointing out that PlayStation go out and buy somebody like Konami, and then there's also been some emphasis on part of Todd Howard's statement, which actually kind of does make sense, where he pretty much points out that their goal is now to bring their games to all consoles, which may be indication that the Elder Scrolls 6 and all of their franchises are still going to be multi-platform, although who knows if that'll change down the road, but right now that seems to be their plan for right now. Although it should be mentioned that even if these games are going to not be exclusive to Xbox console or PC, there's very likely going to be some rewards or added benefits, so just expect like DLC and stuff like that is definitely coming first to Xbox, and probably other special benefits. But pretty much the reaction is just utter shock. So many surprise, some people laughing, because one of the biggest criticisms that Xbox has faced for a long time is that they just have no exclusives or no first-party games. They've been relying on Halo and Gears of War and Forza for so long, but now, well, things are definitely different. Very, very different. But finally, to the last statement that I am going to read, this is actually coming from Pete Hines. He just released his thoughts. I'm going to briefly go over some of the key points. He says, well, the key point is we are still Bethesda. We're still working on the same games we were yesterday, made by the same studios we worked with for years, and those games will be published by us. So why the change? Because it allows us to make even better games going forward. Microsoft is an incredible partner and offers access to resources that will make us a better publisher and developer. We believe that means better games for you to play. Simply put, we believe that change is an important part of getting better. We believe in pushing ourselves to be better, to innovate, to grow. And then finally he says, yes, it's a big change for us, but after taking a minute to absorb the magnitude of this acquisition, we're going to continue doing what we know and love, making great games. We're going to keep trying new things. Also, I just wanted to add this in here because this seems to be blowing up, but right now there is some protest and some anger at PlayStation with some gamers. Very cringe, but they're demanding Sony go out and purchase Konami. That's actually one of the top trends on Twitter right now, but on the Reset Era forums we have this post which is just being mocked by so many. Somebody posted this saying, Sony, we the gamers demand you to open up your wallet and start buying up developers/game IP for PlayStation. As I said on Twitter, PlayStation is in one of the best positions they could be in. The last generation, they dominated with phenomenal exclusives, and even the roadmap looking forward is great. I mean, that PlayStation 5 event that happened just days ago, God of War announced. 2021 is going to be a great year for PlayStation, and moving forward, there's just a lot of exciting things to come. They're in a great position. They don't need to go out and get Konami. It would be great if they had possession of the Metal Gear franchise just because of what Konami has done to it, but they don't need to do that. But in this post, this person says, so let's all clap for Microsoft and just bravo, well played. So now back to Sony, and we have heard rumors that they want to acquire more developers for some time now, and thus it's time to duel. So WB Games seems to be off the market now, and it would have been cool, but now it's time. It just makes sense after all. They have so many game properties, they're talking about Capcom or Konami, that are just legendary in the gaming world. I think I could see it happening now. Nothing is off the table. Sony needs to make a move now, as they just have to. They don't need to. They're in a great position. The last big purchase was a phenomenal one, and that was Insomniac Games. Also, another big update that has come about is that Phil Spencer told Dina Bass that Xbox plans to honor the PlayStation 5 exclusivity commitment for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. But here's the interesting thing for the future, and the question of if the Elder Scrolls 6 or future games will be exclusive. Future future Bethesda games will be on Xbox, PC, and other consoles on a case-by-case basis. So that's very interesting. So anyway, this news is just happening now. Those are some of the reactions, some of the statements coming from Bethesda and Xbox. This is a day to remember, and this is definitely the biggest gaming news to break in 2020 in the last couple of years. This is going to have huge ramifications for the years to come. I do wonder if this puts pressure on Sony to go out and make some moves, or are they happy with what they have? Because let's be honest, this entire PlayStation 4 generation, they knocked the ball out of the ballpark, and really they commanded sales for this entire generation because of their innovation with single-player franchises. And now Microsoft went out and got some dogs. Let's just keep it at that. They got id Software, Bethesda Game Studios, Machine Gameworks, and 2,300 talented developers and some amazing franchises that will definitely make sure that people will be buying an Xbox Series X and S sometime in the years to come, whether that be now or then. Anyway, this news is just breaking, so I do want to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, or if you found any informative value, and make sure to follow my other social media accounts for updates on new videos. Links are always down in the description below. I'm most active on Twitter, giving opinions on news that I do not always get into video form, so do make sure to follow me over there. Also check out my Discord for all sorts of discussion on games, and again, thank you for joining. Consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.